Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many people don't know what's behind a good credit rating. They know they need one if they want to purchase a home, but how can a buyer be in a better position to purchase a home by building good credit or even raising their current credit score easily?
Well, Richard, a lot of people aren't really familiar with how to make their credit score strong. And there's some techniques that we're going to talk about today that will help you boost up your score. But a lot of people really just don't understand it. And typically the top reason for loans getting denied, at least under FHA guidelines, is either the credit score is too low, they're carrying too much debt, or their income is not sufficient. So as a general rule of thumb, lenders will approve anywhere from 29 to 45% of your gross monthly income can be in the form of debt. So that includes house payment, car payment, credit card payment, those kind of things. It doesn't include cable bills. It doesn't include cell phone bills. A lot of people think it does. And it would also include any HOA dues. So these scores, these credit scores, come from something called Fair Isaac. It's some kind of math equation where they figure out how they're going to score you. And it's basically a grade on how you handle debt. So if you don't have any debt, sometimes your score can go to zero. But there is a way to manually score you if you don't have a lot of debt. In general, the bulk of the score is based on your payment history and how much you owe as compared to your available balance. Also, new credit can hurt you, but the length of your credit history, how long you've had that credit card or whatever, will help your score if it's longer. That and interest rates absolutely affect how much a buyer can afford. And there are different kinds of credit scores. Not all lenders look at different credit reports the same way. Basically, what they're looking for is your ability to repay the debt. And they gather up all of your debt and they compare that to your gross monthly income. So that's before they take out taxes. They can also include family income if if their credit score is good as well. And they can also look at things like any other income sources, like if you have a rental property, they will include the rent lease payments up to 75%. So certain things you got to be careful about when you're thinking of applying for credit. One of them is they will ask for copies of your bank statements. So there's a problem if you have overdrafts on the checking account. That doesn't look too good to a lender. Or of course, late payments will really hurt your score. So a good score is anything over, say, 730, or a great score, actually. A good score, you can still get loans between 680 and 730. And anything before that, below that, you can still get loans down as low as 580. And beyond that, it's a little trickier. So basically, the way you prepare for that, if you don't have any credit, you can actually go out and get a credit card that's secured by a balance that you have in a bank and go, okay, I want a $300 credit card. And I want to hold that balance in the bank and borrow against it. That way they will learn your payment history. So, maybe borrow up to 30%, pay it off, and then do it again next month. You can also use things like if you're paying regular rent every month, they can fold that into your credit score. The same with cell phone bills and utility payments and things like that. It can be done. It takes a little bit more work, but it's worth it. Especially if you don't owe any money. I mean, you're probably in a really good position to buy a home. But if you don't borrow money, your score tends to go to zero, which is kind of crazy. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and we're talking about how home buyers can improve their credit before they buy a house. Now, why is this important? A lot of loans get turned down because you have a low score. So it could just be a score that means the difference between you buying a house or not. It could be that some of your income may not qualify for a loan, like if you have a part-time job that you've only had on a temporary basis, or if you have your spouse works, but maybe they're not on the loan, maybe their credit score isn't as good. But what we're talking about right now is the whole scenario. And really the way it starts, first of all, is to go ahead and pull your credit. You can get your own credit report for free at annualcreditreport.com. Doesn't cost anything. You can do it for once a year and be able to pull down your credit and see what's on there. If you have even a late payment on, say, a department store credit card or a Visa or something like that, it will hit your score pretty hard. So you want to try not to do that as much as possible. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about some techniques that you can use to improve your credit score and make sure it stays high, especially while you're buying a home. And if you are thinking of making a move, we have lenders that can help buyers purchase homes with very little down. They're even offering a 1% interest rate reduction on the home. But just in general, of a rule of thumb, if you want to do the calculation on your own before you go talk to a lender, for a conventional loan, you can buy a home with as little as 3% down. There's this great website called bankrate.com/mortgage calculator. You can go on there and figure out what your payment would be based on your sales price, how much you plan to put down, and it will give you a payment. You can adjust things like property taxes and HOA dues, and give you a really good idea what that payment would be. Jumbo loan, those don't matter so much anymore, but a lot of times the credit scores have to be higher for those. FHA, you can get an FHA loan with a credit score as low as 580 and as low as 3.5% down. Some of the loan down payment assistance programs will actually gift you the down payment funds, and you may only need $1,000 as long as you can afford the payment. And then for a VA loan, those are for people that are veterans, right? They either are serving or have served in the military. They can buy a home no money down as long as they can afford the payment. And the credit score is relatively low for that one as well. Sometimes the lenders will increase the score requirement a little bit, or decrease the amount of money you can borrow, or they'll increase the interest rate if they think it's a higher risk. So the higher the score, the better rates you're going to get in general. But for the most part, for VA and FHA, they're lower than conventional. And as long as you meet that minimum score, you're good to go. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're interested in selling, you want to give her a call at 719-301-3900. And we're talking about how to qualify for a home by improving your credit. Barb, what are some other things that the listeners can do to improve their very own credit?
Well, one of the things I would definitely do is always pay your bills on time. So back in the days of checkbooks and checks and things like that, at least for me, it was hard for a while to track that. And came along the ability to pay, or at least set up your payment to pay automatically and or online. That is actually magical. So you can set up every single obligation to pay automatically on the due date, at least at the minimum amount, and then pay down the ones, like smallest to largest, as you can. If you pay on time, that can improve your score by as much as 100 points, but it's very easy. Like it happened to me a few years ago. I went to a department store and I bought a coat or something, and I just lost the bill. I'm not very good with paper. And so I ended up getting a late payment. And it really, really hurt my score. It made me mad too, because it was a small, easy to pay. I just couldn't find it and I forgot about it. So the best thing to do is be sure you go set those up for automatic payments out of the gate. The other thing that can really help you is to keep your credit card balances as low as possible. It's best to keep it down at like 30% of your available credit. So if they say, hey, you're approved for a credit card for $10,000, you don't want to borrow more than $3,000 because that will hurt your score the higher that balance goes. The other thing that's really important is check your credit monthly. You can actually pay for services like the one I like is Experian, where I can log in and take a look at my credit every month because there could be identity theft that happens. You can even pay for services like LifeLock and Experian. It actually happened to one of the agents on my team recently where somebody went out and tried to borrow money using her social security number, and they caught it, fortunately, but you don't want that to happen because that could be super expensive uh, dealing with all that. And their plan is to steal your credit and not make payments on that, take the money and not make payments. Be careful about any third-party collections like medical bills, that kind of thing. Because those will definitely hurt your score over time. And then keep your existing lines of credit open. Don't close things that you paid off because that will actually hurt your score. And there were some recent things that just came out where President Trump signed into an executive order that have changed basically. One of them is as he dismantles the CFPB, which is kind of a regulatory board that was created by the Dodd-Frank bill. Problem is there's no oversight with it, and they have, extreme power. So they're working on that. So there might be some consumer protections that people might have to worry about. That's why I recommend you check your credit periodically. But the other thing that's in that executive order, ordering credit card companies to cap interest on credit cards down to 10%, which is amazing because, most of them are 22, 30, whatever. They're pretty high. So you want to make sure before you buy a house that you do this. A lot of people tend to want to go look at the home because they fall in love with the home and then they're like, okay, how do I get the house? I should have good credit. You want to know in advance. And the first step is just to go on one of those credit reporting companies like annualcreditreport.com, download or have them mail you your report. That way you know what's going on and you can go from there. And if you are thinking of making a move, we have a great team that can help you find a great house, even homes that are not available online. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker, host of the program, owner, broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb, 719-301-3900. Barb, you have some hot new listings? Tell us what you have this week.
I do. I have a really cute rancher in North Fountain, priced at $349.9, over 2,200 square feet, very well maintained, gorgeous covered back deck. It's just gleaming hardwood floors. You'll really love it. We also have a really cute home that's owned by the VA on Domekite off of Interquest Parkway. Beautiful townhome at $399.5. We have a really cute cabin up in Divide, priced at $399.9. A beautiful rancher that's getting a new roof in Fountain on Declaration Drive at $529.9. A stunning two-story that has spectacular views on Wetterhorn Peak Drive, very large lot in Meridian Ranch. Really is beautiful and move-in ready, $639,999. A adorable old Colorado City house on Willamette that's completely remodeled, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a lot that's zoned R2. A spectacular home in Glen Eagle, priced at $635,000. This gorgeous home has been remodeled top to bottom. We have a gorgeous home on Glory Drive in Wolf Ranch, priced at $599,000. 6-bedroom home that backs to open space. A stunning home down in Pueblo at $574,999. Beautiful ranch in a great neighborhood. And featured tomorrow, actually, from 1 to 2, this amazing remodeled 1960s rancher on almost 5 acres in Woodman Valley, priced at $799. And also featured open this weekend, 6292 Chantilly Place, gorgeous Constitution Hills rancher that backs to open space with views. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every weekend. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Has the Buyers, or listen to the podcast on all of the podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thanks for listening, and to reach out to Barb, again, 719-301-3900. Barb, great talking with you. Have a great week. We'll talk next weekend.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.